19 September, the day in 1783, the hot air balloon was invented. The day in 1928, Walt Disney's Steamboat Willie, the first cartoon with sound, was shown, featuring Mickey Mouse for the first time. The day in 2022, where we close an era with the funeral of the British Queen. And last but not least, the day in 2022 of the Beltug Summer Bar. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's kick off this Beltug working year. It's always a bliss to meet with our members. Always a feast. A warm welcome to all of you. In a nutshell, this is your trusted Beltug, the association that axes its activities around these four main domains. The association with activities through moments of knowledge sharing, peers exchanging their experiences with each other, and pragmatical recommendations on our website. The association that is the voice of the business users, of the ICT decision makers, and expresses that voice towards government, towards ICT providers, towards regulators. Key to us is that we work on the barriers you face in your digital strategy and that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And have you noticed we've changed something to this image? Right in the core of the image, we've added something. Indeed, data. Data touches upon every other theme in this image. And it is a complex world, that world of the data architecture. Reason enough for us to give extra attention to this theme and to have a separate track of activities based on it. Today, we are a community of over 2,100 people, representing almost 500 companies. 1,500 and more of these people are ICT decision makers, are business users from all kinds of sectors: banking, hospitals, retail, public institutions, you name it. And we're growing. And that's important, because the more companies we represent, the stronger we are, the louder our voice, and the more inspiration you can all receive from each other. This summer, we asked you about the ICT topics that are close at heart to you. And many thanks, Beltug members, for letting us know what these topics are, what the themes are you are struggling with, you want to know more about, you want to exchange, get in touch with your peers about. And with 378 responses, I repeat, 378 responses from over 210 companies, we know we have built a solid working plan that is inspirational to each and every member in our community. Some of you are CISOs. Some of you are architects, experts in privacy, CIOs. Some of you work for a nationally focused organization, others for global companies. Some of you work for a public institution, others for a private company. We make sure in this working plan that we have something in there for each and every one of you that can bring inspiration and insights. This is the top 10. Shame that we can't have a drum roll Forgot about that, missed opportunity. This is the top 10 of priorities of the business users in our community. And when you have a look at it, you'll see that these themes are axed around 3 domains. There's data, IT security, and IT architecture. Later this afternoon, when you have a look at our complete action plan, or in a few days on our website, you'll see, first of all, that there's much more than this top 10 in our action plan, but also that the complete list is very heterogeneous. Now, given the challenges that are on your plate and the variety of challenges on your plate, well, that is no surprise. And there's much more, as I said, than the top 10 that I showed you. There are the 3 dominant domains, and I've put a few examples of each on this slide, but there's much more. There's 5G, there's indoor coverage, there's sustainable procurement, and ESG, and there's vendor lifecycle management, also in our action plan for the upcoming year. I invite you later on to take a look at the action plan. We've printed a few copies in the back of the room. It will be posted on our website this week, and you'll also receive an email about it so that you're in touch with what we do within the community this year. Okay, let's zoom in on these domains. Cybersecurity, it's here to stay. And it's a very dominant theme, not only in the top 10, but in the entire list. First topic you chose in your priorities, same as last year, IT security strategy. You want to have a clear vision, a clear direction for the protection of your infrastructure, your architecture, your data. That theme is immediately followed by IT security architecture. The why is followed by the how. My observation, our observation, is that we turn from a more reactive approach, we turn into a proactive approach when it comes to cyber security. And there's more. You want user awareness, you want to know more about that, you want to get inspired. Cyber incident response planning, also a topic you scored very high. And you want to learn from each other's misery. The cyber attacks and the lessons learned, you want to know about that. And luckily this is Beltug. This is what we do. Sharing successes and sharing failures with each other, hurdles, pitfalls, exchanging these things with each other. And that is why I put this call to action into the group. Dear members, if you have stories to share, and I'm convinced you have stories to share, you run your daily IT operations, day after day after, so of course you have stories to share about successes, but also about the pitfalls, the hurdles you encountered. Please do let us know about cybersecurity, also about other domains. Your peers in the community will be grateful. This is what your membership and what Beltug is about. And also, in the same survey, that same survey last summer, we asked you what the topics could be that we bring to the table of the Center for Cybersecurity Belgium, the CCB. And you responded to that question. You know that the aim of the CCB is to go for a cyber-secure Belgium. And the managing director of the CCB, Miguel de Bruiker, well, he is convinced that a collaboration between Beltug and the CCB can support your organization in tackling your cybersecurity challenges. So we will make sure we listen to your input, we take your input to the CCB, we'll soon set up a meeting with them, we kick off that collaboration and we'll keep you posted on any initiative that we take. Another common thread throughout our list of priorities are the architecture topics. Companies, organizations still struggle with that choice to make. Hybrid, cloud first, cloud only, on-premise, how to keep control over all that, and all the themes that come with it, all the angles that come with it, costs, infrastructure, security. It's a challenge. And the challenge is expressed in one of the topics you chose, how to have a robust architecture that is at the same time suitable to develop an agile service delivery. It seems a contradiction, but it is what we need. An enterprise architecture mapping was another topic on your list. How do I start? Which tools do I use? What information can I include? And how do I combine my different clouds? How do I keep everything working into one architecture?
Of course, data, as Anne already mentioned, it's now in the center, it's in our core of our activities. It will be very prominent on the agenda. You will see when we discuss our new initiatives on the regulatory aspect as well. We got so many questions. Questions like, where are my data? Who has access to the data? These are quite common since a couple of years already. But now we get a lot of questions about data sharing, because you have this new economy of ecosystems, companies working together, companies and public institutions working together. And so we get many, many questions, and we absolutely want data to be prominent on our agenda. Data is absolutely in what we call the value driving seat, and you will see it in what we will organize in the next months.
As I said, you find a few copies of our working plan in the back of the room. So I'd say, have a look and keep an eye on our agenda, our online agenda on the Beltug website for the events and the activities we're about to announce. Let's also have a quick look on what else is going on within the community. When you work your way through all of our invitations and you have a look at that online agenda, well, you see there's a variety of events and sessions we bring to you. There's Summer Bar, VIP evening, there's debate rooms, there's insights, there's exchanges. More importantly is that we want to have a mix of flavors. There are sessions where we look for a common denominator on a specific theme, a session that is suitable for a mixed audience, rather high level. Other sessions will take a deep technical dive, will be more suited for technical experts. Some sessions are ex cathedra, always with room for questions and a bit of discussion. Other events will be purely on discussion, 100% exchange of best practices and experience. Obviously, we have a mix of online sessions and in-person events, and we'll slowly start to experiment with hybrid sessions as well. There's always an amount of networking and knowledge sharing. This evening is about networking mainly. Other events are more about that exchange of knowledge and experiences. And we also learned from the results in our survey last summer that you want to know about innovations, novelties, and especially what they can bring for your organization. So we promise you we keep a finger on the pulse. We will set up sessions on new technologies and innovations as well, and we've named them Discover, D-Scover. So keep an eye on that, because these sessions will absolutely be about discovering new possibilities.
Of course, regulatory stays very important to us. And so on the regulatory aspects, we would like to draw your attention to three main points. First of all, you have the citizens. we all are. You have the very loud voice of the IT sector, but we absolutely feel that the business user need to be represented as well. And so that's why we invest a lot of time and a lot of effort to represent all of you, well, the business users, to the national level and also at the European level. So first of all, represent the business user's voice. Second part, we see that you are all struggling with the bridge between legislation, legal text with a lot of interpretation, think about GDPR, but you have the duty to implement those regulations in bits and bytes and zeros and ones. So there's absolutely something which is very important to us to give you pragmatic advice, not from us to you, but as Anne said, between all of you in an exchange. And the third part, what we notice more and more, but especially with the results of this year's priority compass, is that you absolutely have a serious need to be updated on what is going on the regulatory scene. So what we also do next to what Anne mentioned on the innovation, we also put regulatory updates in our activity plan. What is going on with the Data Act, with the AI Act, which is upcoming? That's for later, but you can already think about it. But especially also about what about NIS directive? What about the new privacy law, which is upcoming? So this is a promise we make to you that we also will build it in our activities. As you all know, of course, regulation is very important at the European level. We counted the initiatives. We come about 53 initiatives at the European level about digital. That is really, really a lot, too much for everybody to follow. But there we work together with the other associations, as we already mentioned at the VIP, for example, France, the Netherlands, and Germany. We absolutely work very closely together, and that is necessary also to cover as much topics as possible. And we see there that is really paying off. We have very good news there because we see that not only we have quite some meetings with cabinets of Vestager, Breton, members of the European Parliament, DG Connect, DG Competition, and so on. But we also have seen that we get some support for what we call our 11 principles for fair principles on the use of cloud. We have published 11 fair principles together with the 4 associations. These are principles we feel that would be good to have a better balance between the cloud providers and the business users. And only this week, the support of Mr. Peter de Sutter was confirmed. But also we have very special news to announce because at the European level, there will be a group of experts, only 20 for the whole of Europe, and they will work on B2B cloud contracts and data sharing contracts. And we're very pleased to announce that our president of the board, Claude Rapoport, has been elected one of the 20 members of those expert group. Now, this means it will be a very tough job because those other people, they are very well, they come from all universities, they are legal experts and so on. So Claude, maybe you should raise... This is Claude. And Claude needs your support because we can only give good input in that expert group when we have impact or issues from you, real-life cases, real-life issues, especially on cloud contracts. So that group will develop standard contractual clauses for cloud contracts, and also on data sharing. As I mentioned before, and Anne as well, data is very important, and so data sharing recommendations and clauses will also be developed by that group. So please help us to help Claude. It's important for our voice at the European level. So this picture you probably know or remember. These are our baby Beltugs. These are our task forces. So we became too big. Well, it's nice to be big, but with 2,100 people, it's difficult to have peer discussions. And so we have these task forces where CIOs or privacy specialists, there is a group now on the upgrade for S4HANA. So we have these task forces where peers from the business user side can exchange knowledge in a trusted environment. So we call them open discussions behind closed doors. These are important to give members added value, to bring the peers together, but they are very important as well to us to give input on what is now living at our members, what are their challenges. And something we hear right now, not only in the task forces, but also in the bilateral contacts we have, is a concern all of you have, whether you're on the business user side or on the provider side. What will happen with the inflation? What will be the impact of the inflation and the energy costs on the IT contracts? And so we will organize together with Agoria in the next weeks. The date will be fixed as soon as possible. A session on a new Agoria index for the digital sector, which Agoria developed, because we want to offer our members the occasion to see what will this mean for our existing contracts or for new contracts, which position do we need to take, and so on. So this baby Beltugs, they are important for us to listen to you, but also, in any case, if you have a question, if you have something you want to know, other companies, what do they feel, don't ever hesitate to come to us. Now we just see that we don't have enough babies. We see that lots of questions come from, can't you have a peer discussion on this and this and this and this? So we will see what we will do. We are now rethinking our strategy and we have a lot of challenges, so we need to pick our battles very, very good. But something we can announce already is a new task force, and it's a very special one for us because until now we have task forces with IT decision makers. For the first time, we will now make a new one, which is with public affairs people. So we see every company, every public institution, everybody, all organizations, they are impacted with digital regulations. And so what we want to do is bring public affairs people from different companies together where they can have peer discussions cross-sector. Because you have, of course, you have the Banking Federation, you have Comeos and so on, but there it's always people from the same sector. We want to see what can we defend at the European or the Belgian level on digital, which is relevant for all sectors. So if you want to be involved, we already have our first members from this group, but if you think, okay, our public affairs person having all these political contacts should be involved, please reach out to the team so that we can involve those people. What is the goal of that new group? Of course, we want to listen to them. What are their obstacles or their barriers in their strategy based on digital? But we also, of course, want to see which positions can we take in common and support each other's positions. As I said before, 53 initiatives only at the European level, another whole bunch at the Belgian level. There's enough to do, so there as well we need to see what we can do.
Let's have an inspiring year together. With the Beltug team, and we're complete here, with that team, we go the extra mile for you to publish pragmatical recommendations and papers on our website, tools you can immediately use in your day-to-day operations. We set up events and moments of peer exchange amongst you. We facilitate that conversation. And we express your voice towards all kinds of stakeholders. Whenever you have a question, a suggestion, never, ever hesitate to reach out, send us a mail, come and see us, grab the phone. We are gladly there to help you out.